back to the channel. My name is Riley. Thank you for hanging out this week. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. And if you've been here and keep coming back, thank you again. I really appreciate everybody joining in every week. Thank you for sticking with me through that week off that I took. And I hope I more than made up for it with last week's video doing the tour of GX3 where I work. That was a lot of fun. But now I'm having this weird feeling where like I'm not sure that I can top it, or at least do something that can come up behind it with some strength. So this week we're going to do something, but I'm not sure what. So stay tuned. Alright, so all jokes aside, I really have no idea what I was going to do for you guys this week, so I figured at the very least I can do an update on some things and kind of tell you what's been going on here, because right now not a lot's been going on as we prep for the upcoming breeding season. But with that in mind, this girl turned 1 year old a couple weeks ago, so she is officially a yearling little hoggy. I just woke her up from a little nap, so she's a little spicy, but you can kind of get an idea of how big she is and how well she's grown over the last year since she hatched out. So it's been really exciting because she's just been eating like a champ. Colors are changing, her head's turning very gold. We're getting a lot of different progression of some of these colors up here, so it's really interesting to see, and with any luck we'll get some more production out of our adults this year. So up there I've actually been feeding them a lot, and they've all been eating very, very ravenously. They're taking food from the tongs from me, which is rare for a couple of them, but it's every week. So they're packing on the pounds, packing on the calories, and I'm hoping that we can get some more production because they seemed to do really well last year, just nothing came of it. So hopefully we'll get a repeat performance. But I figured since we're talking about breeding season, I would at least let you guys know what I'm doing this time of year in preparation. So hang out. And all right, so if you've been tuned into this channel for a while, you probably know and have seen videos where I talk about how I kind of write down all my feeding plans every week when I have a time to feed, and kind of figure out, going through the room, all right, who's going to eat, who doesn't need to eat this week, this and that. And depending on the time of year, that can change. So the general rule of thumb for me and anybody else who likes to cycle feed in preparation for the breeding season is to feed in the spring, taper off and give them, you know, a month or so off in the summer, then come back up for fall and hit those females heavy full of food and get them ready. You basically want to have a simulation of prey availability, but then right before that winter time, when they know they're going to hunker down for, you know, a few months where food and warmth are scarce, they're going to be eating everything. And if you pack enough calories into those females, their biology knows, all right, we can breed. So if you are intent on breeding, that's going to be a very helpful tool. Now, this entire stack of cages contains animals that I'm hoping are breeding. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carpets, and hopefully as many as 2 of the Madagascar giant hogs. So with any luck, that could yield as many as 8 clutches. But then I do have a couple pairs in here that I'm going to pair, some IJs over there, and I've also started pairing the Crebos last week. So I just separated them today for a little meal to keep food in them. They've been very cordial, hanging out, getting used to one another's presence. The male is not pushy, and the female has plenty of options for hiding that he can't actually fit in. So it's really nice. Everything's on her terms and her safe spot. So it's been great, and with any luck, we'll get some more, you know, good signs, some breeding, and hopefully some eggs this winter. So fingers crossed I'll be able to get lucky with those black-tailed Crebos, because I gotta at least do it once. I've had them for about 7 years, so it's about time. All right, so in preparation, I've been hammering these girls full of food. So if you were to read this card, you would see that I'm feeding these females a lot. So this girl right here has been getting a little bit more food than normal, and she can handle it. She can take, you know, a fair amount of food. You know, if it were the normal parts of the year, it would probably not be wise to give her that much food. It would honestly be a waste. And this time of year is when we really want her to pack on the calories. So this is my big jungle girl, and she knows that there's food thawing in the room. So I'm most definitely not going to take her out, because as you know, I thaw food in the snake room in the morning, gets the aroma going, gets everybody excited, and just really gets them thinking about feeding. But So I don't normally feed her every week. I normally feed her like once a month. This time of year, she's getting food every week. But as I'm filming this, we're in the first week of October. This is going to be the last month that any of these adults get much food. So if you're trying to figure out when you should be finishing up your feeding, it's now. Basically cut them off at the end of October. Start letting them clear out and empty and digest so you can start dropping temps if you do that next month in November. Very crucial for a lot of these animals, especially if they need to get cold. So the last little point that I wanted to make for the breeding sort of notes and things, as I'm getting ready, I'm watching the condition of the animals, and although I've got 11 pairs planned out, that doesn't mean all 11 will go. I have no problem pumping the brakes on a pair if a female's looking like she's not into it or a male's not ready, things like that. But I think a lot of folks are more curious about how you can breed in tubs like this. You know, aside from the climate being pretty regulated and perfect, this female is actually old. She's going to be 6 years old this coming year. So I wouldn't say she's old, but she's definitely mature. And you can see how small she is. This animal is mature. This is an adult female, so she can produce eggs. Now I've been working on putting some size on her because she had a very slow growth sort of start to life, which is not a problem. But at her size, she could realistically give me a good clutch of, you know, maybe 10 to a dozen eggs. They might be a little smaller, but there's no reason why she can't produce. She's got maturity, she's got caloric intake, and at her size, this tub is actually more than suitable. I've had quite a few successful clutches in this exact rack from carpet pythons that are even bigger than her. So the security and the safety of being in a secure enclosure like this is actually beneficial when a female is in that very vulnerable state. So for those of you who would prefer to give them more space, if your animal's comfortable with it and they've got hides and you can fit a nest box in there, great. But don't knock a rack for breeding, because sometimes it's actually what they need, that security and safety. So with that being said, just keep in mind, yes, I've got that wall of racks and cages, and the animals in cages have plenty of room. I didn't want anybody to freak out and be like, why are you breeding those animals in cages but those in racks? They're all different. They all have different sizes, temperaments, desires, so I'm paying attention to that. So just know that I love my animals and I'm keeping an eye on them. Alright, so the last note that I wanted to leave you on was the last sort of update and breeding plan combination. So it's kind of like bringing us all full circle. So you guys have seen this boy, Racer 5, on the channel. He was one of my maternally incubated jungles from last year that I held back. Great stripe, great color, big boy. I mean, you know, this is 18 months old. So these animals, males in particular, can breed pretty young. This guy, I'm putting him in rotation this year. So I'm going to put him back over his mother, hopefully, if he's ready to go, really further this striped line breeding project I'm working on, and then put him to another female. But most folks, they don't realize that carpets don't have to be big. So this guy, if he's producing viable sperm and he knows what to do and the instincts and everything kick in, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to get the job done at this size. Now that doesn't mean he's going to be done growing, but he'll never be as big as, you know, that girl over there. So what we're doing is we are cycle feeding him, so he's been kind of experiencing the same bust and boom throughout the year. He's in a rack that will allow for night drops, and he's been growing like a freaking weed. So I think he should be good, but it does make me a little nervous because if he doesn't get it done, I'm not going to put a different male in. I have a plan for the project, and if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to make a clutch just for the sake of breeding more babies. So hopefully this guy gets it done. Hopefully we can get a few more meals into him before we start cooling him down. And hopefully I'll take the next step in striped jungles with this project. And who knows, maybe I'll even get lucky and do some more MI. For those of you who don't know what MI means, that's maternal incubation. So anyway, I'm going to put this guy away because I do want him to feed today. But I did want to give you guys an update. It's getting big. My light in here sucks. Let me back up. There we go. Whee! He's got really nice blacks, great striping. So. Alright, I'm going to put this guy away. He's kind of wigging out a little bit. But anyway, that's what's going on here. I'm going to try and keep doing weekly videos for everybody, but I got tons of work going on and stuff, a couple podcasts running, so don't hold your breath, but I'm doing my best. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me this week. Thanks for checking out the critters. Thanks for hanging out for some updates. I know it wasn't the most exciting thing, especially after last week's video, but I hope you still appreciate it, and I hope to catch you all next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, check everything out, and we'll see you next week. Peace.